Are you yearning to do battle with a reused asset, armed to the teeth with laser spikes and nothing nice while banging your head on piles of junk? Well good, because Don't Starve Together's quote-unquote newest big bad is exactly that. He is also one of the easiest, most straightforward bosses we have ever seen, and yet the potential crap from his scrap is pretty massive. But we'll get to that. For now, we have a freshly retrofitted set piece to discover, but only if we don't turn it off first for whatever reason, and this setting is going to make even less sense later. But the junkyard is a rather small generation that is guaranteed to form in a forest biome, and in my testing, it has stayed far away from the Moonstone Forest in favor of its own, so bear that in mind. But while the set piece itself is now a part of every single world we create, complete with junk piles, fences, and broken robots alike, the actual layout of them does vary, as you can see. Some have a larger number of bigger junk piles, while others offer the occasional resource flare. And yes, that actually does matter more than you think, as these junk piles can be looted, so the bigger the pile, the more chances of something interesting, so you want more big piles. But what exactly are we so interested in here? Well, the scrap is good of course, although I discovered an even better way of obtaining the stuff from this junky joint, so what really drives this dumpster dive are blueprints, gears, trinkets, and electrical doodads. And as an added bonus, the big pile of junk can be rummaged forever and ever, if you don't mind waiting 2 minutes in between lootings, that is. But before we get to the main event, I must inform you of our ability to hammer the junky fences that surround this set piece, as by doing so, we gain even more scrap without ever starting the Scrappy Werepig fight at all, which is a pretty big deal given how scrap itself is needed for the Celestial Champion nowadays. But yes, the man of the hour, the 10,000 HP having, negative sanity aura'd Scrappy Werepig himself, who's neutral, question mark? Yes indeed folks, if left unprovoked the moment you dig him out, the guy just wanders the junkyard forever, so take advantage of that sanity drain for sure. And heck, if you don't exactly want to fully fight him yet, you can always just aggro him into flinging a limited yet infinite amount of additional junk piles your way as you dance around the arena. These ranged attacks do track us and deal 30 damage a pop, so do be mindful there. However, they are absolutely worth the little dance and distance you have to put on the guy to farm them indefinitely. And if he stopped throwing them, just rummage a few and he will immediately return to tossing more your way. But all that was just my way of telling you that this guy is far more than his fight, as honestly, he's pretty boring. Heck, we could start the damage phase immediately and get like 12 hits in before he does anything himself, so just imagine a team adding that free DPS, everyone. Still, the guy has some unique weapons like his shoulder spike that will give him a charging attack that will deal 100 damage if both hits land, as well as knock us back. But it's also our first look at the boss's first downside, as every weapon of his has 3 durability, and every hit he lands on the environment or us counts towards that. So then, even when the guy is trying to beat us over the head with this scrappy axe that has some BS range to it, I might add, at 62.5 damage a smack, all we have to do is bait him around his own junk piles in perpetuity, and we win essentially. Get about 3 hits in between his attacks for additional damage outside of when he's scavenging for his next weapon, and this rather repetitive fight is gonna be over really quickly regardless of his built-in 20% damage reduction. And let me repeat that. This guy has a 20% damage reduction built into him for whatever reason, so bear it in mind. I will say this, however, it is really fun to see him multi-wield come 6,000 health and below, as that's pretty sick as a mechanic. But I'll still just speed up the rest of this fight for you so you can see it play out and take some notes for what you need. Yes? And that about does it, everyone. Unless, of course, you've defeated the Celestial Champion and are fighting this thing either for a second time or you've just been late to the party. Either way, the guy has one more weapon to shove in our face, and it comes in the form of a frickin' arm laser, capable of dealing upwards of 180 damage to players, depending on how close we are to the blast. The actual attack is less frightening than its cooldown, really. If he's using this thing, then do not even try to get more hits in between his attacks. Trust me. But here's something terrifyingly awesome. If the requirements are met, the Scrappy Werepig can triple wield every single one of his weapons, everyone. Oh yeah, he's like the Porky Cyborg or something. Have fun. Oh, and since I forgot to include this, he can also combo us, everyone. So yes, this is straight up a Mortal Kombat fight. But now let us talk his quote-unquote death, shall we? Thing is, he doesn't die, just like his nightmare variant down in the caves. But thing is ×2, however, they aren't variants of each other at all. They are the exact same entity. For the time being, Clay is keeping both active. However, in the future, it seems like they want us to choose which one is going to help progress the story forward, so that's going to be a whole bag of worms. For now, just know that this guy respawns in his giant junk pile every 20 days or so. But about his loot upon his death, yes, it sucks. For all non-console players, that is. The Horizon Expandinator increases our zoom out distance and can be deconstructed for scrap, wires, and doodads, so do with all of this as you please. Me? I'm more excited to finally be able to show you w.o.b.o.t without crashing the game, even if the guy isn't technically a part of the Scrappy Werepig itself. But it's highly portable, albeit expensive to maintain for such an early game encounter, as we will need an auto-mat-o-canic in order to repair the thing before the fun actually begins. And while its function is about as straightforward as things get, that being storing what's in range of it into chests that already have the same loot stored inside, I imagine that as we get more accessible w.o.b.o.ts, that many implementations will surface. Say like manure farming while we're off screen or something, but cool stuff. And there you have it, everyone. The Scrappy Werepig fight showcase, sure, but also a guide on the entire junk set piece as well. It's hiding some really interesting potential and a unique bout that will hopefully get better in time, as we need ourselves some scrappy gear, Clay. Get on it. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, scavenge away, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.